talk since the last game. So just with some of our performances, we thought Dan Feeney and Dimitri Camille. Dan didn't have a lot of plays, was playing really strong. We'll see what his situation is this week. Just doctors letting him go if he does. But Dimitri also played well up front in the offensive performances. Divine Redding, Mike Majette, both a lot of yards after contact, both good rushing performances. Divine 110, Majette 6 for 57. Mitchell Page and Nick Westbrook were both good in the perimeter, 6 catches, and Mitchell had 5 knockdowns in the perimeter. Westbrook had 3 and the 2 big touchdowns. Defensively, Ralph Green played really well, had a sack, 2 quarterback knockdowns, graded 88%. Was solid. Marcus Olivers, 8 tackles and a forced fumble, really good. Tony Fields, 4 tackles, 1 assist, 2 pass breakups. He was 7 of 9 out of opportunities. When you got a chance to make a play and really making it, it's playing well for us. And Rashard Fant, didn't get a lot of action, but when he was 2 for 2 in pass breakups, those guys were well. Kicking game, our punt team let us down. We're working hard to correct that. First week it was our field goals, so we got to be complete in all phases, so we're working hard there. Didn't have a lot of kickoff return. Our kicker was very solid. Mitchell did a great job kicking him out. I thought the field goal before the half by Mitchell Page was really, really good. Players of the game, Divine Redding on offense, Marcus Oliver on defense, Griffin Oaks as the specialist. Our scout players of the week were Alex Rodriguez and Ryan Watercutter, 2 upper-class guys. A-Rod's been awarded a scholarship of former walk-ons, and Jake Attar is doing a nice job. And so I thought that was a solid performance. Played the first 3 quarters good. I don't know if we had a lull. I think we probably played like our fans and just left in the fourth quarter, it looked like. But the first 3 quarters, we were good. We were up 30-0, and so I liked the way we played. We just, we had them down 30-0, second 9, and we had some second-team guys in their defense. We let it play out and got a drive going, got a field goal. Offense, we were trying to slow it down and got a little bit out of rhythm, and kept put us back on the field. The block punt definitely hurt us. Never felt threatened. I read some of the comments. Everybody thought it was like Rutgers. I didn't think it was like Rutgers because Rutgers, we didn't stop them. These guys didn't score but 1 touchdown, so I kind of felt like we were in control of the game. And I just would have been nice to have been cleaner, and not necessarily take the foot off the gas, but just clean up the offense a little bit. Defense, a little bit more of a killer instinct. But I really had a lot of respect for Ball State coming in there, and I thought they played solid game. And for the most part, we were really, really pretty solid, and we just got to finish. We finished both halves in our first 2 games good. We finished the first game, fourth quarter, really good. This last one, for a reason, just play calling, execution, all phases. It could be better. Going into Wake Forest, they're coming in 3-0. They just played Delaware last week. Totally dominated that game. I think going into the fourth quarter, they'd given up 2 first downs. And you can say it's an FCS opponent, but, the Big Ten has a rule you can't play FCS teams. But for some reason, a couple teams are playing them, and look at the scores of those games because we've lost a couple. Those are good teams, and there's only, I think, 6 undefeated matchups this week in Power 5. And the reason being is a lot of Power 5 teams aren't taking care of winning games you're supposed to win. There's been some crossovers and some good teams playing good teams, but you look, I think it's Florida, Georgia, and A&M, Arkansas, and Michigan State, Wisconsin. Us and Wake. So you're playing a team that when you've won 3 in a row. That team last week came in, was averaging 330 yards a game rushing. They held them to about 40. Totally shut them down in the run game. They're running the ball very, very well. They just had an injury at quarterback, but they had that last year. Last year, their starting quarterback was knocked out against Wake Forest. Hinton came in, last play of the game. They're throwing it into the end zone. This year, I guess Kendall got hurt his knee to some degree. So now, John, they're fortunate to have 2 good quarterbacks. So that we'll see how their quarterback situation plays out. But they've got a good team. And I say that because, to me, it's the second time we've played this team, but it's 5 years in a row I've seen them. Because in 2013, we opened up early with Bowling Green, which meant we studied the 2012 Bowling Green team, which was Coach Clausen's team. So we watched the 2012 season, getting ready for the opener, and then we played Bowling Green. And then we played Wake last year, 2015. With that early, we watched the 2014 Wake Forest team. So we've studied this team for 5 years. We've seen them play a lot of football. Their defense, Coach Echo's defense, is extremely stout, extremely strong against the run, pressuring the quarterback. They were at Bowling Green. He's been a coach that I've respected in the way they've played. Had my eye on him as a coach for a long time. Thought he's just an awesome coach. His kids play hard. You look at the way Louisville's playing. I think last year their Louisville game was, 1917? They played them late in the year. They go toe-to-toe with those guys. Now, I know it's the next year, but still the same quarterback. I guess that guy's gotten better, and I'm sure he has. But, you watch those guys play shut out Clemson in the second. Watch them how they play against us last year. I mean, they basically have what was their second team quarterback, Kendall, who actually won the job this year, but last play of the game, they're throwing it in the end zone. So, again, a lot of respect for the team. Know the school well because I grew up down there, so that's kind of neat. But it's really about this year's team and their team. I think they're a solid team, great on defense. They're playing great in the kicking game. Their kicker's going to kick it about 8 yards deep. They've had 2 punters. The guy last week had a 49-yarder. They're great in the kicking game. They've taken care of the football, and they're playing team football, and they've had 3 really good team wins. I think we've had 2 good team wins. So I think it's 2 teams that match up. It's going to be on BTN. Should have a great crowd. I encourage our fans to stay with us and stay behind us all the way down the stretch because it's got a chance to be a stretch game. And when you get in these, our last 6 games, we've won 4 and we've lost 2 in double overtime. So why don't we hang around for 4 quarters and see what happens, have a lot of fun, and make this an exciting atmosphere. I know we have a big crowd starting out. We want to play well down the stretch. And I think Wake comes in as a good team. I think it's a good matchup. We've had a good off week of practice. We've had a couple of injuries that are kind of public with some guys, but we're as healthy as we've been. A lot of guys are getting back. We've practiced really, really good. And we're going to need a good week because I think Wake comes in as a stout team, and then we roll straight into 9 Big Ten games. So it's getting ready to get real and get serious. And I think your guys are looking forward to the challenge. It'll be a big game and a good week.
How much maybe does change and how much is just kind of scheme they adapt?
Well, they both run. Probably Kendall's a little bit more of a dynamic runner, and you might emphasize that run skill because he's more of maybe a home run threat at quarterback or a big play threat. But in every game, and even last year, I mean, Wofford is a solid runner, and they're going to run. They'll run him. He probably spins the ball a little bit more, so there's a little bit more pass. So it's the same offense. I think the emphasis goes a little bit more from not maybe as much zone read or triple option kind of stuff they do, with a little bit more maybe run pass. But at the same time, again, we saw Kendall last year. He threw the ball well and it's down the stretch. We got to tighten our pass D up. So I think they'd say the schemes stay similar, but things they emphasize are a little bit different because one guy is probably a little bit more of a guy that runs, but a little bit more throw guy. They're still going to run the ball because they're going to rely on good defense and good kicking. And the ability of both teams to run the ball and stop the run, no matter, that's always been the gist of a lot of games. If you make those big passing game plays, it's easy, Zach, but it's running and stopping and run, and that's the way we always start, and that's kind of the way they start too.
You guys watched the tape from the first 2 games on offense. What kind of things did you see with the issues when you kind of got bogged down or kind of spun your wheels a little bit?
Yeah, just some negative plays that get you 2nd and 12. Just this lack of execution. Maybe sometimes we could be a little bit more aggressive in play calling, but then you're worried about getting behind chains. So we just, when we bogged down, we've had something like last game. We had several plays that were tackled for loss, and we didn't protect the quarterback very well. And this team gets after the quarterback the best of any team we played, and we'll see this continuing with the guys we've got coming. So the negative play, getting us behind chains, 30, 35, 40, 40-yard line areas got us. Yeah, he has a concussion protocol deal. I just saw him at lunch. I mean, I've been. It's hard. That's why I don't know if they're upsets anymore, but just so much competitive balance in football. I mean, the game's played now where it's in space. College game, the clock stops so much, with the first downs and all the passes going to college. So it's a longer game, which just means there's more opportunities. And I don't know if there's been several scores of you're up 14, 17, 18, whatever, that you just got to keep playing. And, some kicking blunders that all of us can go through with onsides and hands, and you get a turnover in the mix. So, I mean, to me, it's just no lead is safe. You're never out. Just keep playing. So you talk about it, but human nature. We've had some really good practice, and one of our comment afterwards is, it's really hard to do what you're doing, which means just keep doing good. Because human nature, you relax. And so, we're talking to the team about having a little bit more of a killer instinct, but first of all, you got to keep getting up. I mean, what if you're not? Just keep playing. It's never good, never bad. You got to keep playing. We showed a lot of plays. You saw a lot of it. Examples this week of guys making foolish plays, dropping the ball before they scored. We showed an example of of a game the other day. It was two highly ranked great teams, and there was a defensive score, and 30 yards behind the play, there was a personal foul. And with the personal foul, they took it on the kickoff, which means they kicked off from the 20. Well, the guy kicked it out of bounds, so now the ball was on the 50. And 2 plays later, they scored, and that defensive score was negated. And next thing you know, the team that was behind was leading and went on to victory. And so, no lead safe. You got to play smart. You got to play hard, and you got to finish. But I think because so many people are spreading it, the passing games are getting so good. Our game on these guys last year, it was kind of like the Ball State game last week. We weren't killing them, but we had a 14-point lead or 17-point lead, and we're playing solid. Next thing you know, they got the ball, and they're chunking end zone trying to tie it up. So you just got to keep playing. And victory's hard. That's why, I saw a comment from an ESPN guy that, hey, I want to be the first one to say, Wake and Indiana were undefeated. I want to be the first guy to say that. Well, it's because there ain't a lot of people do that. It's hard to win games because it's playing good every week, overcoming mistakes, and staying hungry and staying humble. It's human nature, it's human beings. And our sport has the greatest number of human beings, and it's getting all those elements to work together. So it's a challenge for every coach.
How do you prepare your guys, especially the young players, haven't been through it mentally for a 10-game run here, starting with the Big Four, Big Ten East is 2. It's going to be demanding. So how do you prepare them for that?
Well, again, I think, the way we came out of our summer, and we've had we put a lot of thought. I think I did the preseason schedule about 40 times, trying to figure out when to take days off, when to go, and you always got to be adaptable and adjustable. That great line you show me a coach that has a recruiting coach or a recruiter that has a schedule, and I'll show you not a good recruiter because you got to adjust. But we put a lot of planning on how we want to practice and then adjust. And so we put a lot of time in how we thought to be at our best to try to win those first 2 games, but also be ready for the long haul. Because we thought we could have overdone it too soon. And we didn't want to take this past week totally off. We also didn't want to overwork. If you win games, you're doing things right. But we put a lot of thought. I think our kids have bought in. I think our kids are having fun at practice. A couple of you guys get out there and see it. They're having fun at practice. They're practicing hard. There's a lot of energy. And that's pretty good. And I've got some old guys, like you got some old walk-on guys, like Alex Rodriguez should be playing more. He's a very talented guy, but he's in a competitive situation. He's winning your scout team player of the game. You got old guys buying in. TJ Simmons is coming off a bum knee where he's not really playing yet. He's got a redshirt year, but we're trying to just get him. But he's practicing full going to scout team. He came to the other day. He said, Coach, on the punt team, let me tell you something about the snapper I think would help us. So, when Chase Dutra and Ralph Green didn't play the first week, they might have been our 2 best practice players. And when you got guys like that practicing hard, they're buying in. So then as a coach, you're not pulling teeth at practice. You can kind of, I think our guys are embracing the process, understand our process, and it's going to be challenging, but college football is. And I think our guys are up for this week and the weeks to come. And we're going to have bumps and bruises. We're going to have injuries. We'll overcome that the best we can. We're going to keep playing. But I think our team has bought in to the new strength coach, the new defensive staff, and what's going on and the way we're trying to play as a team. And we're not great yet, but we're trying to become a stronger and better team each week. And we're working hard to do that.
I heard more talk from Camiani. You originally said you thought he could be back when sort of Big Ten play. I know this is a week early, but is it possible he can get out there Saturday? Do you still
He's no different than Dan. We're waiting for the doctors to clear him. So he's practicing. He's clear for practice. And, it's not my call. It's those guys determine that. I got yelled at years ago when our running back was sitting on the bench because he was sick. It wasn't my call. He couldn't go. And so I got a great running back sickling, and we did beat Missouri and our rival with a good running back on the bench because he had sickle cell. So the doctors will control when Camiani can play. He's practicing, but it's their call.
Simi out, is there a guy or group of guys in receiver that you guys can try to get maybe more in the mix this past week?
Well, the thing is, again, you got Rick, played a lot of ball. Donovan Hell's coming on good, really good in practice, needs some game confidence. Looks really good and made a nice catch in the first game, but got a chance, very talented. Just still young at the position. Nick is doing solid. It's over 100 yards a game. He's one of the top guys in the conference in receiving yardage, so it ain't like, we're broken there. Luke Timian's played out there. We'll get Camion going at those spots, and he can come in the backfield, move him around. And the way the defense is played, we actually here today, and I don't know if it's an answer, but in time if we need it, he's not done well off the field or just in confidence, but been very immature with some things, and it's done well on both sides of the ball. But we moved Leon Thornton back there today, but it's more for Leon than we need him at receiver. Like, it just, we went to defense, was doing well, but he's been a little bit moody and just needs to mature and grow up. And I said, hey, I don't need you at receiver, but you're not playing defense, so we'll see. Maybe that guy gets back in the mix. He was playing a year ago at receiver. I thought that we need him at DB. Played great over there. Was playing great. Actually had him playing some safety. He's looked great, but he's been immature. He needs to grow up a little bit. But I thought part of his immaturity might be frustration. I said, where do you want to play? Just like Chris Covington, where do you want to play? He said, I want to play receiver. I said, well, come on back. No guarantee you're going to play. So, but maybe that helps out a little bit. Well, I think, to me, what does back off mean? So you can still rush, and if you can always rush hard and create quarterback havoc with 3 or 4 rushers, then you don't stress your coverage out. If you can't, so the real deal is what can you do when you have a lead and if you're saying you have a lead, you think a team might be a little bit more one-dimensional to just make the quarterback work and make him, work in coverages, but also make him feel the rush. And without being cheap, you try to get hits on the quarterback with sacks or your clean plays on him where he feels the rush. So if you can drop 8 and 3 guys can affect the quarterback, that's what you'd love to do. Can you have three guys that can rush? And if you're in a 4-man structure of deal, can those 4 guys, if the guy's you just don't want the guy patting the ball. Because if they're patting the ball, sooner or later, the guy's going to come open, he's going to find a seam. And so it's just, and if you can't, then you got to start adding. But when you add on and you start bringing 5-man pressure or 6-man pressure, now you're playing man-to-man or you have seams in your defense. And that's the rub. So the deal is no matter what you're doing, you can't let off the pedal of trying to harass the quarterback. Who's that?
You mentioned fan support a couple times already. How much does that kind of weigh on you,
I mean, it's what it is. So we just talked about you got to create your own energy. I just think our team's close. We're not a long way to go, but I think we're playing good. We got good fans. Those tailgates are still there. If you buy in a good enough cooler, the stuff will stay cold for you. Let's ride out the second half, man. Let's play ball. I mean, they're good kids. I mean, I'm not complaining about them, but the great thing about the home crowd is the energy of the fans. And just you love to have second half energy. And same time, the football team's got to create it on. The fans aren't going to cheer if you don't make plays. The more, I remember saying a long time ago as a coach, guy said, start waving towels. I go, if we'd make a play, they'd yell. And it wasn't here. It was another school. It was a great school. Like, hey, if we'll just make plays, they'll start screaming. And so we're a part of that deal. But I think we slowly keep getting better. There's great competition. We have a great slate of games this year. Wake coming in and 5 Big Ten games. I just think, we got a beautiful stadium. Got a great setup around here, and just I think our team's working hard to be competitive. And I just, like Terry Hebner said years ago, fans help you win games, and love to have our fans come help us because I think together that's our house, and they're a part of us. It's not my house, it's not my team's house. That's our house. That's our fans' place. It's our place. You walk into Assembly Hall, there's an advantage. It's a real advantage. And I actually think this arena here is very loud. Our fans are very much on top of you. When I go through some of the places I've ever played that were loud, Marshall, Oklahoma State, some of those places that are small, that are right on top of you, you can feel the fans. And I hope our team will keep playing well, and we keep the momentum going. Our fans will embrace the energy of our team and ride out with us.
Balance that, I guess, what will go into the thought process of whether or not you can try to get it back late in the year?
Well, one is health. If he has, like that's the deal right now. It's like it's short-term and long-term health risk for anyone when you're coming off injury. That's what the doctor's looking at. Hey, short-term, where are you today and this week, and where are we long-term? Long-term the season, long-term your career, long-term your life. When they're looking at things, that's what those doctors are looking at now. And so it's one thing, you got a game coming up here in 5-6 days, but you have more games, you have a career, and you have a life. And this sport can be very demanding on you. So first thing you look at is just physical well-being. And then from there, I'd ask a serious question of, you got a redshirt year, are you a 5-year guy or not? And if he thinks he's not a 5-year guy, but at the same time too, we could be talking about a moot point because maybe the injury will be such that maybe it's not even till bowl time if you're bowl team. So we got a lot of work to do about that. But he's engaged in meetings, So is Jordan Fuchs. Jay Sean had his surgery. They're all doing well. And we always talk about all the hurt guys. We got a really hardworking, good-looking team out there that's going to have a really good challenge from a team that we respect. And hope we have a great crowd that's energetic, and trust our both teams are going to play well. It sets up for a good 10-game run for our team and for our fan base and for recruiting, and looking forward to it. I just got a break. But we still got to talk about hurt guys. But we still have a bunch of really good players that are going to try real hard to win. So, you guys good? Have a good one.